Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Recently, India had an election in one of the provinces, Bihar, but its results, having been known, is not that important from everybody's point of view. However, just a day after the elections took place, something momentous happened, and the people of India, lost in the enthusiasm generated by the election, did not realize the implications of that activity. China made a proposal, and proposal seems to be very innocuous, very innocent, and aimed at building peace. In fact, it's a monkey wrench in India's desire to maintain its territorial integrity. They call it disengagement 2.0. But it's so insidious a proposal that in case the government of India accepts it, it stands to lose, the country stands to lose its territorial land, and it shall be a precursor to the future incursions by China. As a matter of fact, once this proposal is accepted, you can be sure that this would be the start of a new tension as soon as the winter is over. And the proposal is, as I said, looks very innocent and very innocuous. They say that the PLA shall pull from finger 8, 4 to finger 8. That's the mountain spurs located on the north bank of Pangong, so, and withdraw the troops of Beijing and New Delhi to the original positions on the south bank. As I said, looks very good. People go back to where they were originally. India withdraws from finger 4 to finger 8. And this proposal put forward by the military regional commander Major General Lee Lin to Leh-based 14th Corps Commander Lieutenant General Menon. And this proposal was made on November 6. And then the second part, both China will first disengage to the North Pangong Lake and then pull back their soldiers and tanks to the South Bank in the final phase. Now, what would happen? All the three parts of the proposal stand to help China and make India a loser. It will create a temporary DMZ, demilitarized zone, or what in civilian language they'll call it a buffer zone. Now, buffer zone, if it's to be created, it should be such that no country loses. So normally what they do is if it's a 2 kilometer buffer zone, from the border 1 kilometer each side will make two is demilitarized. But here, the buffer zone is entirely on the Indian side of the line of actual control in North Pangong, and no mention of the restoration of the status quo in Depsong area, where Chinese had come 16 to 18 kilometers of Indian territory. So those 18 kilometers long stretch would remain with China. And then if the buffer zone is to be created, they'll move back 2 kilometers, meaning thereby that India withdraws from those 16 kilometers further. So it's 20 kilometers away from the line of actual control. And China withdraws, so instead of 18, it is 16 kilometers away. That's on one side. I fail to understand by what logic did General Menon agree to this proposal. But then he is a conduit. The proposal has to be accepted by the Prime Minister. Now, if India accepts this proposal, which has a third part, and mentions that India shall withdraw till Dancing Thapa post. This is between finger 2 and 3. And if India withdraws, it loses 8 kilometers more on the side of LAC, line of actual control. The fact is that India has always patrolled till finger 8 and claimed it as a part of LOC on the north bank of the lake until China intruded in May. So if India is to withdraw 2 kilometers further, India stands to lose 18 kilometers, 8 kilometers this side, 18 kilometers on that side. And the fact is that India has not agreed to a proposal. Has it an option to do it? China is aggressive and refuses to budge. And the onset of the winter and the freezing temperatures make Indian army stay over there very difficult. And India has been taken in by this dawdling policy of China. Is it the repeat of 1962? Now, let's be clear that creation of buffer zone is always tricky when proposed by a more military, powerful, and strategically placed adversary. And they are strategically better placed. The math is simple. For example, let's not say China, let's say country X intrudes 10 kilometers inside country Y from the point Z. Now, subsequently, China, in the shape of country X, proposes a buffer zone of 3 kilometers on either side to de escalate the conflict. And now, if India agrees, I mean country Y, then what happens? It stands to lose 7 kilometers, 3 kilometers in the buffer zone created by the plus 4 kilometers earlier occupied by. What a logic. And this tricky math in the DMZ is evident right in the first disengagement process when India agreed stupidly. India, when Chinese occupied hot springs and the Galwan River Valley, India agreed with China to create a buffer zone of 1 kilometer each in the hot springs. And the 2 kilometer zone, roughly along the river, Chenmo River, was to China's advantage. PLA soldiers included to 3 to 4 kilometers inside the line of control, near patrolling point 15, PP15, and about 2 kilometers near PPA 17A. Now, what will happen? They'll need only to pull back 1 kilometer, and the balance would still be on their side, even after this engagement. Very nice sounding phrase, disengagement. You, you move into a personal property, take over its lawn, and then you say, okay, let's be friends. You withdraw 2 feet more, and I'll withdraw 2 feet. And the balance which I have already taken, well, that is mine. And next time again they do the same thing. Next time again they do the same thing. So, net result, LAC changes. PLA remains 2 to 3 kilometers on the Indian side of LAC, near patrolling point 15, 1 kilometer inside the Indian territory, point 17A, the total LAC would shift 3 kilometers into India. So 8 kilometers at one place, 18 kilometers at another place, 3 kilometers at another place. Then in the Galwan Valley, also LAC was effectively shifted by the so-called disengagement negotiated on June 13. So the process is continuing. We lost the land on May 15. We lost the land on June 30, and now we are going to lose the land again. The terms of disengagement on June 30 between the senior commanders, that LAC running on the so-called Vainala junction. This is 1 kilometer inside Indian territory. Historically, LAC's alignment is at patrolling point 14, and the point of point 14 is an area which Indian Army has been patrolling for decades. And now this area falls within the Chinese buffer zone. So the implication, India stands to lose even after fighting a victorious war. What happened in 1965? India gained militarily and lost in negotiations when India gifted away chicken neck. 1971, India won militarily and lost on negotiation table when Mrs. Gandhi gave back all the conquered land rather than make that as a point for further concessions and release 97,000 prisoners. And this is the third time India is going to lose on the table what it won in the field. Why did the army sacrifice? That's $1 million question. Another glaring point in the disengagement process is passing reference to the strategically located Depsang Plain, the scene of the major standoff in 2013, in 2015, and this year. Here, PLA, as I said, had included 18 kilometers into Indian side of LAC. And there's no mention of restoration here. Actually, India should have said, no, we go back to where we were in April. The agreement of June, of May, and this proposal are ipso facto wrong. And we'll negotiate from the point of state of affairs which existed in April when PLA included 18 kilometers into Indian territory. And unfortunately, the first priority is the flash points. They are not being protected. Pangong Tso and Chasul area, they have always been the pinpricks. The Depsang Plains, which under the subsector North is military and strategically very important, both for India and for China. You'll ask me why. Well, there's a Karakoram Pass on the north, Aksai Chin to the east, and Remo Glacier in the west. And this is very close to the airstrip of Daulat Beg Oldie. Thousands of Chinese troops are deployed at a place called Y Junction or the bottleneck, which is approximately 30 kilometers away from the airstrip, southeast, sorry. And the Chinese excursion has blocked India for patrolling. Point 11, 12, 12A, and 30. The day you accept this proposal, PLA would control Darbuk, Daulat Beg Oldie Road, and Sezerla Pass. This would make the Siachen Glacier inaccessible to India, and there's a link between China and Pakistan in Ladakh. So this seems to be a game played by the strategists in Beijing and Islamabad to lull India into a false sense of comfort. The most important thing in any de escalation or any disengagement is an element of trust, so that the peace process turns and moves on forward. But the experience that India has with China in Eastern Ladakh and earlier clashes in LAC, the trust factor is not there. The Galwan Valley clash in June this year, Chinese bid to intrude inside the south bank of Pangong Lake in August, has destroyed all trust. And if government of India still trusts China, then my regard for this government would be zero, if not negative. This will be a government of nincompoops, idiots, and even possibly traitors to the country, with all their claims of being patriotic. The lack of trust and the Chinese betrayal has been clear from 1962, then in 71 war, then visible in Doklam crisis in 2017. India pulled back its troops at that time, but China withdrew from the Tri Junction and occupied the whole of Doklam Plateau. Basically, they altered the status quo and built a military structure, infrastructure, and helipads 1 year later. The satellite imagery seen by me also, and this imagery was given to Government of India in October 9, 2018, that India's boundary with Bhutan is a de facto boundary with China. The Deccan crisis was a trigger for the rapid construction of air bases. And China has built hundreds of air bases, helipads, and military structures called LAC. So you withdraw now and they will become operational. 12 new military positions have been built in the last 3 months, including 3 air bases, 5 permanent air defense personnel, and 5 heliports. And you want to withdraw from there? The frantic pace of Chinese construction along LAC is absolutely similar to what China is doing in South China Sea, where it has built artificial islands spread on 3,000 acres with all the latest port facilities, runways, and fuels and bunkers. And the purpose is to counter the claim of Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, and prevent possible US attack. So what they have done in South China Sea, they have replicated here in the Doklam, Ladakh area. The rapid military buildup is the aim to preempt Indian military response in future. So once you accept it, you are in fact in perpetual danger of being overrun, and you can be sure time would not be far off once you accept it that Ladakh might fall into China, Bhutan, and then Arunachal Pradesh and other areas. Considering the fact that the Chinese cannot be relied, considering the fact that this is a negation of the concept of buffer zone and the Chinese backstabbing, which is a continuous process after talks, considering the fact that there's a dangerous construction of the military infrastructure, it's time for Modi government to wake up and be extremely cautious and alert about the new proposals. The need is to reject them firmly, whatever the consequences may be. You cannot bury your head in the sand under the false premise of peace, which would always elude you if you accept this absolutely insidious proposal. Thank you.